Hello there, my name is Griffin, and today we are covering, to all of the shy guys out there, how did you get a girlfriend? Please consider subscribing if you enjoy the video. Was sitting in second day of bio class in college. Class had 100 plus students in it. I liked to get there early to reserve my seat. Was a very shy guy and my row was always empty except me, which I didn't mind at all. Anyways, I was sitting there and I look over at the far door to watch the students pile in. The girl, obviously on the tennis team, walks in. 10 out of 10. I look at her. She looks at me. I look away, because I didn't want to be awkward. Next thing I know, she's right next to me and asks if the seat next to me is taken. It isn't. She sits down. I don't know what to do, but I have to do something. Look over and say, I'm Vanessa, but what's your name? And put my hand out. Immediately regret the decision, because maybe a handshake is too formal. She awkwardly shakes it and gives me her name. I ask how long she's been playing tennis. She doesn't. She's on the golf team, not the tennis team. Feel like a dumbass, but keep trying. She asks a couple of questions about me. I had just get back from living in France for a couple of years. I'm half French and tell her. She's impressed and asks me to say a couple things in French. More impressed. Class starts. She mentions how she'll need a study buddy to get through this. I catch on. Tell her we should make a study group. She's all for it. I get her number to set the group up. Class ends. We go our separate ways. Next day of bio, I get to class a little later than usual. Walk in. She's in her old spot. She saved my spot. I'm on cloud 9 and never miss a day of bio. We start studying together before exams. Then we start studying together every day. I have a car. I take her out to eat every now and then. She invites me hiking a month later. Just me and her. We go up the mountain to a spot that overlooks the city. She plays my favorite song by Blues Traveler. That's when I fall in love. Ask her out on the hike down. She says yes. First kiss. 2 years later we're still together. She apparently hit on me a lot, and eventually got mad and was like, do you just not like me or what? I eventually stammered out an apology and asked her to hang out for Christmas. We've tolerated each other for 6 years this Christmas, lol. Well, my last girlfriend was a friend I had a crush on. We were playing the dot game, which is where you try to tap the other person's nose and say dot. It leads to a lot of wrestling if you're playing on a couch. I had her pinned down and we were both laughing. Then I just kissed her. Lucky for me, she was thinking just kiss me already or else that would have been bad. My boyfriend is more introverted than shy. He and my brother worked together and my brother asked him to help move a big piece of furniture. He stayed for dinner. We talked and then I asked him out. He's held on to me tight ever since smiley face 3. Basically he did someone a favor and got dinner and a girlfriend out of it. After drinking 2 bottles of wine I was talked, against my better judgment, into going to an event at a club with 2 friends. There I met a beautiful and smiley girl who one of them knew from elsewhere. During the sobering up period I remembered I dislike people and clubs, so I retreated to the 24-hour cafe, lounge place across the street and drank tea, where friends and accompanying beautiful smiley girl eventually joined me. She and I talked, and it was great. She wasn't difficult to talk to like everyone else. When we all went our separate ways, we hugged and agreed we should definitely see each other again. After that we spoke on Facebook, but didn't see each other again for like 3 or 4 months. Until she said she was coincidentally coming to meet friends near where I live and that this would be a good opportunity to meet up. I later learned these friends were a ruse. We met at a pub and talked for ages about lots of our favorite things. I asked if she wanted to come stay at my house, and we've been together the circa 2 years since. We live together and she's asleep next to me right now, and is by far the best thing to ever happen to me. I'd never been with anyone before her and was beginning to give up hope. When I was 19, one of my extrovert friends hooked me up with another introvert I never would have met otherwise. We started off exchanging emails. We lived 100 miles apart. This was in 2005, before smartphones with video chat, before video chat was really even a thing. I had no idea what she even looked like. Our 8th anniversary is Monday, and we're taking the kids to dinner and a movie to celebrate. She made the first move. Asked her out over MySpace. Freaking MySpace. She inexplicably said yes, and we've been together since. Well, MySpace was a thing. My current boyfriend is as shy as they come. He won me over by approaching me at a college mixer, and just smiling and nodding while I blabbered on and on about the James Garfield assassination. Sometimes listening is all you need. A little bit of alcohol helps me become a bit more social, so that helps. I didn't get her. She got me. She went up to me and said, "You're my boyfriend now," and since I'm too shy to say yes or no, I went with it. We have been dating for 6 years now. Stands ready with a notepad. I went through a 2-year period where I became pretty normal. I met her and got married during that time. I was sociable for some reason I don't understand. After we got married, I kind of went back to my old self. This answer is probably not much help. For me, the trick was to be cool with being alone. I found my happiness, worked on improving myself, and eventually women started noticing me. There is definitely something to the confidence is sexy thing. I guess my advice is, live your life and don't obsess about being single. Also, going to the gym helps, because the better you think you look, the more confidence you project. Went to a dating site, searched for keywords video games and simspins. Found Mrs. Cared, married for 10 years now, smiley face. First one, she ended up liking me for some reason, and it was pretty obvious. She ended up confessing first, so yay me, for a while, then not so yay. Second one, Tinder, grab it, because I don't go out at all, and there's no other way for me to really meet people. First person I swipe is essentially a clone of me, just female. Instant hookup. A couple days later decide we're dating. Yay for me, at least for now. We'll see how things go. She called me to wish me for my birthday and asked if we could hang out to talk. She confessed she's been in love with me for the better part of a year. It's been 3 months since then. I felt the connection instantly. It almost scared me. I couldn't believe good chemistry could be this good. So yeah, I guess I hit a jackpot, is the answer. I wear a fake cast and trick them into helping me load stuff into my van. Oh man, it was my first day in my math class. I saw this really pretty curly-haired girl. She caught my eye and I sat close to her. The teacher ended up being horrible. Student teacher. So, she would ask for help to explain stuff and I would too after following her lead. Eventually a group of us were confused enough we made a study group, and I still remember how happy I was when I got her number to make plans to study and look over the stuff the teacher didn't explain good enough. I ended up transferring out of the class, because the teacher really was horrible. But we stayed in touch. One night she had a horrible pain and her roommate had plans elsewhere, so I took her to the hospital, instead of studying, and we bonded on a whole other level. It was like I'd known her for years. Like she was instantly my new best friend. And then we just fell for each other after all the inside jokes and daily help we'd give each other. I know I got really lucky, but it made up 4 years of bad luck. I'm a guitar player. They just walk up to me and start talking. That's why I play guitar. That's why we all play. Answer thousands of personal ads and eventually you'll get lucky. I dated for very short periods of time on and off during college, but never anything that lasted more than a few weeks, and usually only 1 or 2 dates that went nowhere. This happened once I was out of college. Her best friend and my best friend got married. Her friend, the bride, sat us at the same table. I actually moved to another table, because all my friends were sitting there. Halfway through dinner the bride waves me over and asks why I moved. I told her, and she said, "But I'm trying to get you to meet that redhead at the original table. Would have been nice to know that." So I went back to the table and we chatted, but it didn't really go anywhere. Then a couple months later I was having a party, and her friend invited her without me knowing. Told me she was coming just a few minutes before she arrived, cue me freaking out, but also composing myself. Ended up talking with her for like 4 hours and asked her on a date. Things went well from there and we've been married 8 years this Tuesday. I formally told her that she was my girlfriend, and that she could start sending me nudes if me lady felt like it. I haven't heard back from her, so I'm assuming that's a yes. College. This hot redhead walks into the house I'm sharing with 4 friends. They are all over her trying to chat her up. I ignore her. Later that night we all get drunk. She passes out in my bed, and when I go in to make sure she's okay, she asks me to stay there with her. We had some hot sex and played the vagina game, where you rename movie, video game, book titles to be vagina themed, like Harry Potter and the Deathly Vaginas, or Lawrence of Arabia. We stayed up all night laughing. Next morning I took her for coffee and donuts. Then 2 years later we got married. I didn't. And I haven't. And most likely won't. The best way is to come up with something you think both of you would enjoy and then invite her to go with you. For example, hey, I have tickets for the Kings of Leon concert on Thursday. Do you want to join me? It doesn't have to be something expensive. Just think about it for a while and arrange something that goes beyond what every guy does. So avoid dinner at a restaurant, cinema and Starbucks for a first date, going to a cooking class with her, watching a movie at an open-air cinema, or getting a cup of coffee and going to a book reading together are way better. No matter what date you choose, the most important thing is to choose a date that involves actively doing something, like playing pool billiard, cooking, riding a roller coaster, dancing, etc. That way you will not run into the dreaded sitting across each other in silence situation. With flirting I mean showing her clearly that you're interested. If you don't, then you risk being seen as just a friend. How can you show her that you are more than just a friend without being creepy? I'll give you my top 3 ways to accomplish that. Touching is by far the best way to show a woman that you want her. It's important, however, to do it right, or else you'll come across creepy. Touching is a way of expressing emotions. It's a gesture that speaks, so to say. Hugging someone tight who is upset is not a way to escalate sexuality, but a way of empathizing with the person. Once you have developed the ability to empathize with people, that means putting yourself in their shoes for a moment to experience what they feel. Touching will come completely natural to you. However, there are a few tips that will give you a head start. Good ways to start are touches that are socially approved, like hugging as a greeting when you meet her. When hugging her, remember not to move away from her with your hips except if you want to end up in the friend zone. Putting your arm around her when you take selfies. Guiding her somewhere with your hand on her lower back. This can also be done by holding her hand, but the lower back version is less intimidating. Touching the outside of her leg with your leg when you sit next to each other. Dancing, putting your arm around her and rubbing her upper arm when she is cold. Hugging or giving a high five when one of you won something or did a great job at something. The second way to show her you are more than just a friend is ridiculously simple. Look her in the eyes. Often, guys are nervous at a first date and therefore avoid eye contact without knowing it. Just remind yourself of it and you will be fine. Word of caution. Direct eye contact for more than 3-5 seconds is too intense for most people. Make solid eye contact whenever you listen, but look to the side or up every couple of seconds when you are talking. Honesty. Honesty makes it impossible to end up in the friend zone, and it separates you from almost every man out there. Because, let's be honest, most guys just say what they think gets them closer to sleeping with her. I'll give you a couple of examples what I mean by honesty and what I don't mean. Good examples. This dress looks stunning on you. Honest and intelligent. I get so insecure around you. Cute, whispering in her ear. I want you so bad. Sexy. Bad examples. I had this nasty rash for more than a month. Too much information. I have been looking at all your profile pics for quite a while now. Stalker. I often think of you when I fap. Rapist. Honesty doesn't mean drowning her in all your kinky secrets. It just means talking to her like a mature person who knows what he wants and doesn't apologize for it. After a couple of dates, the two of you will naturally drift into a relationship. Yeah, I'm still single and waiting. Tinder of all places. It has the stereotype, but I firmly believe that you find what you're looking for on these apps. I was on it in college and there's definitely ample opportunity for hookups. Last year I downloaded again and started meeting a lot of really interesting people. One girl was going for her PhD at Caltech. Another was working for a non-profit that helps cancer survivors. One girl was in town for the weekend and was looking for a weekend date. I couldn't say no. My point is that if you're looking for a relationship, you'll find it. If you're looking for hookups, you'll find it. I bought me Lady of Amazon for $10. I love my waifu. Please subscribe if you like the video. It really helps the channel to grow. Adios.